William Butler Yeats was born in Dublin, Ireland in 1865. He grew up in his parents' hometown of County Sligo, as well as London. At just the ripe young age of 15, he returned to Dublin, abandoning painting for his newfound love of poetry. Sligo is the county town and the most populated urban area of County Sligo, Ireland. Sligo was one of Yeats's biggest influences in his work. Despite the strong influence that Sligo had on Yeats's work, it's interesting to find that he never actually lived there. He spent time there as a child. His writing shows notable influences from Irish mythology and folklore, consisting of legends, music, oral history, proverbs, and the traditions of a culture. We see his work springing up during the Irish Literary Revival, which was a flowering of Irish literary talent in the late 19th and early 20th century. Known for her on-again-off-again relationship with Yeats, was English-born Irish revolutionary feminist and actress Maud Gonne. Gonne turned down not one, not two, nay, not even three, but four marriage proposals from Yeats between 1891 and 1901. She ended up marrying John McBride, with whom she had one child, and then divorced. After they divorced, Yeats proposed once again in 1916. She turned him down, this time too. Because of this relationship, she inspires many of Yeats's poems. Although he typically tended to stick to traditional forms of poetry, Yeats was a modernist in his use of words. In his frankness, he generally tended to cut to the point and did not use a lot of nonsense fluff that just made it sound better. Many modernist writers wrote reflectively about their thoughts and feelings, and as Yeats grew older, he too began to write more from a personal level. Modernists broke traditional styles and themes, and by writing about Ireland's past and their mythology, Yeats was breaking off from traditional topics of literature for the time period. Also influential to Yeats was Augusta Gregory. Augusta was an Irish dramatist, folklorist, and theatre manager. Her, Yeats, and Martin founded the Irish Literary Theatre and the Abbey Theatre, and wrote numerous short works for both companies. They produced books and retellings of things that happened in Irish mythology. Coole Park was the home of Augusta Gregory, and was also thought to have influence on their work. It is also significant to note the influence of the Easter Rising on Yeats's work. Easter Rising was an armed insurrection staged in Ireland during Easter week of 1916. The rising was mounted by Irish Republicans with the aims of ending British rule in Ireland, seceding from the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, and establishing an independent Irish Republic at a time when the United Kingdom was heavily engaged in World War I. After all was said and done, Yeats wrote a poem entitled Easter 1916, which commemorated some of those that lost their lives during this event. This poem also showcased some of Yeats's emotions towards this horrific event. Yeats believed that poetry should serve a purpose, and often wrote about Irish nationalism, thus being a key figure in Irish literary revival, which showed a rebirth of Irish themes and mythology in current writers. Beyond just believing that Ireland should be free from British influence, Yeats also believed in cultural nationalism, which shows in his poetry. In addition to writing about folklore, he also believed that literature should be incredibly personal and relatable. He wrote about many personal events in his life, including his children, and about the feeling of aging. Literature, even if traditional in style, should portray both the artist's feelings and could be used for political purposes as well, such as to bind a nation together through a common culture, as seen in Yeats's work. Yeats was one of the greatest poets of the century. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1923 at the age of 73. In the year of 1939, he passed away. Today, Yeats is taught and enjoyed by many, but particularly enjoyed by the students of Dr. Barbara Birch.